Hello and welcome back to the Glassman's World. I'm Dan the Glassman, and we are about to get started doing a live glass blowing lesson, a beginner glass blowing lesson. For this year, 2025, I decided as Gardeno Glass, I would be doing some live lessons, and that way people can watch these videos anytime they'd like. You just have to go to my live stream. Just know that I don't upload videos anymore. It's been a long time, and pretty much I'm just a live streamer all the time now. And so if you want to watch any of my content, just simply go to my live stream and you'll find everything there. So let's get started today. So we're talking about spinning tops. These spinning tops are basically glass toys that are really cool little spinning tops here. It looks like I don't know if you've ever played the game Sorry, but it looks like a Sorry piece, but then with a little nub of glass, basically perfectly in the center there. And that's the trick, is making sure that this color glass is perfectly in the center. And when you pull this, that you pull this and make sure this is nice and straight, and rounding this and making sure that's nice and straight. And also making sure that this, when it's pushed flat and straight, and it's not pushed in an angle in any kind of way. So you want to make sure that that's nice and straight. And then, here, let's see if I can get that in the video there. I think all of these are pretty good with their spins. That one has a little bit. Did you see that one? That one has a little bit of a wobble compared to the rest. All these other ones are good. Yeah. Oh, that one has a slight wobble. This one right here. Yeah, that one's got a wobble compared to that one. I don't know if you can tell the difference here. That's a good one. That's a wobble. I don't know if you can see it on the camera or not. But yeah, so these are all pretty good. The game is to get them all spinning all at once, right? But these are like some of the best fidget toys or spinners. They've been around since I started making these in 1998 when my firstborn child was only 3 years old. And I decided, hey, you know what? Let's make a glass toy that my child can play with. And I figured out how to make spinning tops. So these are real cool. What's up, AnCap Gamer? You finally made it to one of my streams. I've been catching you and finding you at different places. But also I noticed that you've been doing a lot more of your membership only videos, which are cool. I can't afford to become members at everyone's video because I subscribe to so many different channels. But I appreciate you being here, and thank you so much for joining. So we're about to get started on how to make these really cool spinning tops. These, like I was saying, these are like some of the best fidget toys, fidget spinners. And once you get really good at them, then you know, and if you have a bunch of them, they're only $5 for 20. So if you get like 5 of them, 10 of them, then you can really like sit here and just like try to get them all to spin all at the same time. You know, maybe get like a dish or a plate and have them on there. But yeah. Okay, and you're doing that for the algorithm reasons. I completely understand that. You know, my algorithm is crap. I don't do videos enough. I'm not on a schedule enough. I'm not even monetized, so I'm not even too concerned and worried about any of that. I simply just blow glass and I bring it to you all live. This is my world, and I just share it to you on how it comes. So yeah. Oh, and your streams are many hours long. Oh, okay, I get it. Yeah. My videos are also many hours long too, which is I just have an issue with that. Sometimes I can't do anything really short and sweet, especially when we're just, you know, blowing glass. Here, let me get this paper, all this black paper. This is like gift wrapping paper that comes in the nice little boxes we get. So we got to always wear our safety glasses. These are didymium glasses. If you don't know, these are protective glasses. They help to filter out the sodium flare from the flame basically when I'm filming, you guys are seeing a lot of orange off of the basically like when the glass hits the flame, it just like becomes this a sodium flare. And so you guys won't be able to see what I get to see. I get to see through all of that, and I actually get to see into the flame to see what I'm doing, what I'm working on and working with, and so I can see what I'm doing. All right, so basically, at this point now, for beginner glass blowing, if you haven't watched all the other videos and you haven't even got started on figuring out how to do gathering glass, pushing mushrooms, making spirals, doing flatbacks. If you don't know how to do flatbacks, then you have to go back several lessons and make sure you learn how to do flatbacks first, because this would be probably the next step up from those several different streams. So, and usually you start out with learning how to gather. Gathering glass is simply introducing the glass into the flame, getting it nice and hot, bringing this flame up, getting the tip of this glass molten, and basically getting rid of this pointy tip, rounding it down, and allowing it to become molten about a good, we're going to go like a good 3/4 inch right here. And then we're going to flatten this down. So the first step is to make this flattened portion right here. So as you can see, you're just seeing this big old bright sodium flare, but I can actually see through the orange part of the flame, and I can see the glass. I can see the glowing glass. Like it would look like, I guess, that to me, but it's not even in the flame right there. All right, so we're going to get this molten here. I'm going to bring the flame up a little bit. We're going to adjust this some. So this glass, it melts at about, I guess it becomes molten and liquefied at like 3,000 degrees, but it really starts to like get soft and malleable about 2,100 degrees. So I need to get this glass up to about 2,100 degrees. This is borosilicate glass. It's the most heat tempered glass that there is available. A lot of people know this glass as Pyrex, or the brand name Pyrex. I actually don't use Pyrex. I'm not even sure what. Oh, this is Scout glass from Germany, or Duran glass, Scout glass. And this is the actually the cleanest glass that there is as far as borosilicate glass. But Pyrex is a brand name, but I'm using a Scout glass, or Duran. Duran glass. Scout is the manufacturer. So now I'm going to flatten it, and I have to spin it to try to make sure I keep that in the center. And then we're going to lift it up, and I make sure that I flatten it. So I bring it up to eye level here, and I spin it around, and I just make sure that it's nice and flat. So that's got a good 90-degree angle right there. So then when I spin it, see, I'm spinning it right now, but you can't really tell. It looks like it's just sitting in place. So yes, Pyrex is a brand name, and that's basically what this is. But this isn't Pyrex brand. This is Scout glass. I wish I could show you the box, but we'll do that another time. So now we need to figure out a color that we like to use, and I need to make 3 more of these green ones. So we're going to introduce the color. I'm flashing this into the flame so it doesn't pop and explode, or basically like shatter out on me. It has a little divot kind of right there, and I didn't want it to pop. So basically now we're going to look for the center here. If your studio's lit up really good, then you'll be able to see. I don't know if I can show you this or not, because my studio is just lit up by the sun that's coming in. So in the center here, Yeah, I don't know if I can show you. I got to like try to find the reflection. There's the reflection right there. So when we push this down on the pad here, there's like these lines. It basically is like a bunch of circles, like the way that like a tree has rings. You get these rings from the heat as you put it on the pad. The heat's like creating this shock wave, boom, 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 boom. And so you'll be able to see the center of this if you look for that as you spin it around. You're like, oh, okay, but you got to like really like try to find the reflection. I'm trying to get you that reflection so you can see, but there's rings in there, and that's the trick. Yeah, Pyrex makes measuring cups for the kitchens, right? Cookware. Pyrex brand glass. It's a borosilicate. So Pyrex is known for cookware because of its heat tempered properties. It can withstand a shock value of, I think, 360 degrees Fahrenheit. Basically, you can bring it from 0 degrees to 360 degrees and it shouldn't crack. But old Pyrex used to be real authentic borosilicate glass, and new Pyrex is crap and does explode and does break and does shatter and can't withstand going from the oven to the freezer or the freezer to the oven and vice versa. Those kind of things. All right, so now what I'm doing is I'm getting this molten. Basically, you're gathering the tip of your color glass, because a lot of times your color glass will look like this. It'll have a little pull at the end, right? So you round that little pull, that little point, you get it nice and round and smooth, and then you figure out how to get that dead perfectly centered right there. Boom, right? But we're going to do this when it's molten. So what I do is I figure out where that center is, and then I try to lock in and hold this as close as possible, getting this warm in the flame. While getting this warm, the flame is only what I'm seeing about 10 millimeter apart, maybe. So I'm using the edge, and as I push the glass in, it's really moving the glass to, like, I only got like 3 to 5 millimeters to play with, and I can accidentally touch it. So I got to be careful not to touch it till I'm ready. All right, so now that we got this all molten, we're going to push that in the center as best as we can. And then we spin this. And by spinning this, you can also see if it's centered or not. And then you can move the color glass over to one side or another and get it centered. And I'm basically going to smash this down, get it nice and centered, smash it down. And then I'm going to pull up on it and pull it off. And we're going to take some of the extra color glass here and just spin it onto the end of the color rod, the color stick, and just leave a little bit on the tip right there. And then we want to see, is that round? And you can see that it's not, it's not shaped straight around it yet, but the dot looks like it's pretty centered. So now we'll heat that up. We'll get that rounded. And like I said, if you haven't learned how to do a flat back, then you definitely need to learn how to do the flat back. So now that this is rounded, I can see that this actually isn't perfectly centered. I don't know if you can see that, but you see it's got that wobble when I spin it. It drops down low and then it goes high and then drops down low. So I can actually take my paddle here and I can figure out where that low spot and that high spot is, and I can force the glass over when it's molten. So I'm going to heat this up. And these are only $5, 5 for 20, like I said. They're not too expensive, and they don't take too long to make usually. Compared to my $5 mushrooms, these are probably in that range, maybe a little bit longer, but that's all right. These are just so cool and so fun to make, and they're so fun to play with. And I just sold out, so that's why I'm really working on these right now, is because I need to up all of my inventory right now. I sold out, guys. Normally I have at least 20 to 40 of them, and they all went in the last couple weekends, and I haven't had time to make any more. I've been working on some other glass, making a lot of glass balloons. I have a lot of orders to fulfill right now, so I'm working on all those. So now I got that pretty good. I can see it's got a slight wobble still, but it's not as bad as it was. I'm going to round it. I'm going to melt it, make sure it's attached and fused to the clear glass as best as possible. Because this is the portion where, you know, if anyone accidentally drops it from too high as they're spinning it, you don't want this little tip to just pop off. So you really want to make sure that this is fused together nicely, not just attached. And so now you can see it's, I think that's pretty good, nice and round. I'm spinning it right now, and you can see it doesn't have that wobble where it's going like up and down like that, you know? All right, so now we get our punty, and a punty is basically just a scrap piece of glass. It's a piece of tubing that I have that I then melted the tip and gathered the tip, so now it's a solid piece of glass on the end. All it is just gathering the tubing, melting it down, it becomes thick and becomes solid. And so now we have a solid piece there that I can now attach. And let's make sure, I'm going to heat this up, and we're going to round it on the pad here, like this, go back and forth on the pad. And that way we can make sure that this is nice and straight. That way you guys can see. I didn't have to do that for myself, but that's so you guys can see. And hello, welcome back, Madame Star. You did see the wobble before. Awesome. Good eye. That's good. So I am having a good day. And I did not check the list. Oh my gosh, I completely forgot about that earlier because I just like left right away to go get my daughter. But oh my gosh, I got another video that I want to make. We had some parking drama. I didn't take any video. I can't take video right now because I'm without a phone. And that's how I used to always do live streams and go live. And now I just got an overhead camera, a webcam, just a real simple webcam, nothing fancy here. We do it live, raw and unplugged here at the Glassman's World. So now what I did was I attached the punty. I got the punty molten, attached it to the dot. It's completely like attached, like I can let go of it, right? But it's barely holding on. It's like if it's not welded, it's taped on. Like if that would be the difference, right? So it's barely just holding on. If I flick this too hard, it would fall off, right? So I'm gonna grab it real carefully, real gently, and I'm gonna allow it to spin in my fingers real gently like that. All of my pressure's in this finger here as I'm spinning it, right? So now what I'm gonna do is utilize the punty to start to pull it when it gets molten. We're gonna put this portion right here, right where the heat is. We're gonna put that portion right there. Boom. Right into the flame. This is called flame cutting. So then I get the portion right above the flattened part, or I guess below the flattened part. Here, I'll get it molten, and then you'll be able to see where I'm hitting it. Or I'll get it hot, and then you can see. So as you can see, you see right there where it's glowing? That's where I'm putting the flame, directly above or below, like right at that flattened area. And we're going to slowly pull both hands away from each other. And basically it's going to be like if you had a rope and you decided to play tug of war with someone, right? Or let's say you have a short piece of a rope and you're playing tug of war with yourself in both hands, right? And you just pull them. As soon as this gets molten, right, it's bendy now, right? So as soon as it gets to this part where it's molten, I'm going to carefully continue spinning it and control the spin and control how thin it's getting. It's slowly pulling away. It's getting thinner and tapering away. So now I'm going to pull. I'm going to pull, 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 but go slow. We're going to keep that portion about 4 millimeters thick, 5 millimeters thick right there. I'm going to stop pulling. The section in the center there is about 1 inch. Okay? And now we're going to go right to here, and we're going to go directly into the flame right there. And we're going to flame cut this off with using the punty to hold on to it. So now, as you can see where the heat is, that's where I'm going to flame cut it off. We're going to pull it, but we're not going to pull it quick and create like this big old stringer of glass that's dangerous. We're going to allow the flame to just cut it off. So simply it's, you know, you have it like this. We don't want any kind of pulls like that. That gets dangerous, right? So I'll cut that off. I'll round that down so we don't have any dangerous points. It's always good to practice safety. Keep your points rounded so you don't accidentally poke yourself, stab yourself, any kind of danger, any kind of accidents like that. Always put your hot ends away from you. I know this end is cool, that end is hot. Safety, safety first. So now when we spin this rod right here should be straight. If you got a wobble in it, then that means that somewhere right here you allowed slack. And when you were pulling that rope, you allowed it to slack off a little bit. So when I'm spinning it now like this, do you see it wobbling at all? It's not doing any kind of won't, won't, won't. So that's nice. It should spin well. We're going to now gather this portion here, bring it down. This is going to become a thick handle. That's where you grab it with your finger, your thumb and your index finger, basically. Or I use my middle finger and thumb, and then that's where you spin it on that rod right there, right on that round part. So that's what we're going to do now, is you just introduce that in the flame. Once again, same thing, gathering glass. We're just gathering on a smaller rod here, that's all. We're going to round it down, slowly just get it. See, now there's no more point. It's already rounded. So now this thing is just going to become a little marble, and it's going to grow. It's going to get wider this way, and it's also going to start falling down this way, which means that it's just gathering glass as it falls down or collapses onto itself. It gathers itself. And then it's going to start to wobble. And so it's up to you to control your spin and make sure it doesn't wobble out of control. And keep it perfectly in control. Round it out until it's about down to there, to where then you get to a nice thick portion. You got a nice round head on top. You keep spinning and keep spinning so the molten dot doesn't fall over. You keep spinning it to keep it on axis and to keep it nice and straight right there. Then you get your jacks or your tweezers. You heat up the tips here so you don't shock, because these become cold. They're metal. So, you know, sitting around for a minute, they become cold. Now they're warm. We're going to grab right underneath the marble there. And then I have the kind of torch that I can just snap it right off. You might be able to also just snap it like that. If you're working on a glass torch, a GTT glass torch technology torch, I would highly recommend not snapping it on the aluminum body. And now what we're going to do, after you snap the punchy off, there's always like a little piece of jagged glass right there. It's sharp, it's jagged, it's basically been broken off. We need to round this. So I go underneath the flame, bring it up towards me like this, and as soon as that dot goes into flame, you can see even right there that then it starts to make that whole flame just glow. So you just want that portion in the bottom, heat it. I'm going to heat it up like this, but then you got to remember, if you're holding the glass at this angle, that glass is going to fall. So then I'm going to hold it like this. So if it starts to fall, then any of that glass, that dot, can fall basically down and allow gravity to pull it or allow pressure to push it, or however things work. So I'll just go underneath the flame, go on top of the flame, make sure I'm getting it nice and rounded, and then that's done. And then I'll hold it like this to where it stays falling downward or getting pushed downward, or however you look at science and physics. Either the molten glass is falling this way, or the air within the molten glass and the molecules is pushing it outward and expanding outward. And so now you put this in the kiln and it's ready to go. And that's it. The kiln you want to have at a temperature of 1040 degrees, and you want to anneal your glass for an hour. 30 minutes to an hour is good, and that way you can anneal the glass and make it nice and strong. But it's still glass, and even annealed glass, tempered glass, can still break. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put my glass here on the table, and that way I can test out every single one. I will allow it to room cool. Being that I know that I fused everything together, I'm confident in knowing that it's not going to crack on me just by sitting right here on the table. So we'll make one more. We'll go through the process again real quick, and then I'll let you guys go. This is just a real quick, simple glass blowing lesson on how to make spinning tops. This is just another, I guess, the next step in beginner glass blowing. So we started out with gathering, which is what we're doing right now. We made the mushroom pendants. We've made the spiral pendants. We've done flat backs and made flowers. We've even done jellyfish, which are extremely advanced and not really beginner glass blowing. But I threw those in there as well for some of you who might want to try that out. Right, and they also look like those, the dreidels that they make. And I've actually wanted to make an authentic dreidel that has the inscriptions on the side, written in I don't even know what that would be called. It's not Sanskrit, but in the Jewish lettering, I don't know what that is, what it's called, but I would love to learn, because I have several Jewish friends, and they would love to have a glass dreidel just to have for themselves. So now what we've done is we've gathered this 16 millimeter rod, clear rod here. Basically, it's formed a small little marble right on the end. We're going to smash this down onto the pad. I'm going to try to do this in a way that you guys can see what I'm doing. Flattening it down, trying to keep it centered. So as I'm spinning it, I'm making sure what I'm doing is I'm looking at the edge right here. So as I'm flattening it down like this, I'm looking at this rim, and I'm spinning it to make sure that it's not too thick or too thin on one side. That's all. All right. So we got to make 3 of these. So I need to make 2 more of the green to have at least 5. I try to make 5 per color each time when I do a run. And like I said, I got to make as many of these as possible. So we're just going to make as many colors as possible today. And but I'm going to let you guys go so I can keep this video short and sweet for the beginner glass blowing lesson. But I may come back later just because it's fun to share this stuff with you guys, and just to blow glass and to hang out with you guys, because I don't have anyone here in my studio just hanging out with me. Sometimes I'll have a friend or two come by and just chill, but usually it's just me in here. So it's fun to have you guys to join me here in my dungeon with this flame breathing dragon I call my torch. I've never named my torch. I guess my dragon is just called the torch. All right, I'm rounding up this green a little bit just so we don't have any wrinkles in there. I heat up this dot. Try not to really do too much of the lesson here. Just going to do a quick recap of it all. So we did the flattened part. We made sure it was nice and straight. Added the dot directly in the center here. I'm rounding it up. I'm getting it nice and fused together. The colored glass to the clear glass. It looks pretty good. There's a slight wobble, but I'm going to let it go. And we'll see if this one, because I said I'm going to let it go, is it going to actually wobble when we spin it? All right. And then we'll just, we'll get the punty set up here. This has got to be glowing or a little bit warm as you attach the punty. If you allow it to cool down too much, it doesn't attach properly. So you got to do all that pretty quickly. And then set this up. Make sure that that's nice and straight. So that way when you pull it nice and straight. Sometimes at this point, the punty can come off on you. It's okay. Just reheat both areas. Not too much, though. You don't want to fuse them together. Because the more you melt them together and fuse them, the bigger of a chip or a break or even the clear glass will break off, and then you'll have a piece of clear glass stuck to your color. So now we get this molten, start to pull it, start to do the flame cut, but we're going to taper it down, slowly taper, give it a nice stretch, bringing it down to that 1 inch right there, keeping that handle nice and taut. Keep spinning, keep pulling it tight, but not pulling it hard. Flame cut it off. Once you can feel that it's solidified. Excuse me. I forgot to bring water in. And I'm talking a bunch. All right, so now we're going to introduce the tip into the flame here. We're going to gather this smaller rod that we just created on the end here. Round it down. I always like to spin it one way and then spin it back the opposite way. So that way you can counteract the spin of the glass. As the glass is molten and you're spinning it one way, it's slowly kind of like lags behind a little from the actual solid glass. So by rocking it back and forth and spinning it both away from you and towards you, it allows it to kind of balance back into itself. And we heat up our tip here. I don't know how fast this one was compared to the first one, but guaranteed it's a lot faster instead of going through all the instruction real quick. Maybe we'll do one more real fast. What time is it? 33 minutes in? Let's do one more real quick. Let's see if we can just pop one out in like 5 minutes or less. We're at 33 minutes in. Let's see if we can get this done by 37 minutes, all right? We'll make sure that that's nice and rounded. All right, let's go. Here, and let's try this one real quick. Does that one spin nice? It spins awesome. That's already cooled down and ready to go. So all these are going in the kiln. Let's pop one out real quick. Let's see if we can get this done by 37. 37 is my number, guys. Got it tattooed on my arm to prove it. It's actually a Zia Ohm. It's the Element 37 logo, band logo for our band, Element 37. Oh. Nice. And Cap says, thank you, thank you. So yeah, these I got down pretty good, but sometimes they come out a little bit crooked. So, but for those of you who are wanting to get into glass blowing, you know, I strongly recommend finding someone who can actually train you and teach you in person, just due to safety. You really want to make sure that you're really taking safety seriously. We're working with propane and oxygen. It's a highly volatile situation, and it can be extremely dangerous if you are not careful and do not know what you're doing, and you don't check to make sure that your hoses aren't leaking and things like that. So always want to make sure safety first, right? All right, we're going to flatten this down, spin it real quick, make sure it's nice and flat. Add the color. Trying to go quickly with this one here. Let's see if I can beat 37 minutes in. Bam, on and off. This one's going quick. Once I start making a bunch of these, then my time and my speed just like gets up quicker and quicker. And I just start cranking these out. All right, already time for the punty. Here we go, guys. 36. I got 50 seconds. I don't think I'm going to pull it off before 37, but we got close. All right, make sure that's nice and straight. Let's pull it. Gonna make it happen. I don't know. I don't think I can melt this down in less than a minute. I think it takes at least a minute to get it molten. We got 30 seconds. No, the rest of the glass rod. So glass actually has insulative property, and it doesn't heat up like metal would conduct the heat all the way down to my fingers. Now, if I'm an inch or two away, this flame is bouncing off and kind of, it's going all over the place. So there's some heat down there below, closer to that flame there. But other than that, no, it doesn't conduct any heat up the rod. Except one thing that's cool is the scientific property of optical fiber optics, and how fiber optics work. And you can send light through from one end. I don't know if I can show you, but if I heat up this end here, no, I'd have to pull the flame out to show you. Here, let me just try to round this out. We're at almost 38. If I can round this before and get this done before it's at, I got 15 seconds, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We didn't get done in a 37-minute time, but close enough. Look at that. That was quick. What was that, 3 minutes? I just got to wait. Now I'm like, I got to wait for this to set up real quick. Boom, boom, boom. And then grab it, snap it off. Boom, just like that. Round the punty. And how quick was that? I don't even remember the time we started. I said I had like, what, 4 minutes or something? So fast that one's still warm. Woo! But that one spins. But that one's hot. I did that one so quick that one doesn't have time to cool down. But it spins. Not so much of a wobble, but a little wobble. All right. I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. I'm Dan the Glass Man. This is the Glass Man's World. And good luck with blowing glass, beginner glass blowing lessons. Be safe. Be careful out there. Like I said, try to find yourself a good glass blowing instructor, a teacher, a guru, someone who can show you something, at least be able to walk you through the safety guidelines, and that way you don't hurt yourself and burn yourself, and especially don't have any kind of explosions or accidents like that. So much love and blessings to you all. I'm out. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate you, ANCAP and Madame Star. See you soon.